it's Reagan. Welcome to today's video. I am so sorry for not having posted for a very long time because life happens sometimes, and I moved out into my new house. As you can see, I started a new module of school. I got married to my husband. Come say hi.
Hi.
This is Daniel. And we went on our honeymoon last week, which was super duper fun. So we've just been kind of busy and crazy. I also have to be in a very specific mood to film because if I'm not, you guys comment and you're like, oh, are you sick and whatever. No, I'm not sick. I'm just not in the mood. But today I'm in the mood and we are going to talk about how to survive med surg in nursing school. So I have a couple tips for you guys. The first tip has to do with studying, and that is the look, listen, do method. So first I like to look at the book or at the PowerPoint, then I listen to the lecture, and then I do. So I do something with my hands. I will write notes, or I'll make a concept map, or I'll write something on my whiteboard, or I'll make a podcast, or I'll just do something that requires me taking that information and putting it back out some way. The next tip are the 3 C's. The first is color coding, the second is compression, and the third is concept maps. So here's an example of my notes. These might be a little bit hard to see, but as I said, color coding. So this topic, the colors were blue and green, so it just makes it easier for me to remember. Compression, I took a 200 slide PowerPoint and I used some methods to turn it into a more compressed version of notes. So this is 7 pages only front, and so it's more like 3.5 normal pages. But as you can see, I kind of took my notes and I underlined key terms. I used arrows. I made little like cause and effect charts. I used some of my own charts, some bubble maps, stuff like that. And I just kind of created my own compressed, more easily understandable version of the PowerPoint. And then the third C is a concept map. So again, this is color coded. And you could probably find this template online. This was given to me by a teacher, or you could create your own. So in the middle, you have the diagnosis. Up here is the patho. Here is signs and symptoms. This is risk factors. This is patient teaching, labs and diagnostic testing, and treatment and nursing interventions. So this compresses, again, all of your information, puts it in one place that's easily readable and understandable, and you could also use the back of the page if you needed to add any information or medications for treatment or things like that. So the next tip is using a definitions template. And this is a template that I created myself, but it's just got the heading, definitions, and then the term and the definition is on the side. So this can be used in 2 ways. Both have been beneficial for me. Sometimes I have a little bit of trouble paying attention in class. I think we all do at some point. And so it's really nice to set this out on your desk, and instead of just scribbling down notes as fast as you can, actually pay attention to the lecture, and if the teacher mentions something that you're not familiar with, add it to the list. You don't even have to fill in the definition yet, but you can add it to the list. So that is beneficial for in class. This is also beneficial for after class when you're at home studying. If you're going through your notes or going through the PowerPoint and there's stuff that was mentioned that you're not familiar with, again, just write it in and then you can put in the definition. So this can be used during class or after class. Both are beneficial and helpful, and so I would suggest either creating your own or you could probably find one online. So like I said, I made this myself, but you could just go on Word and just kind of make like a 2-column graph and adjust the lines as needed. The next tip is don't overstudy. I think a lot of people struggle with overstudying because they have a lot of resources available to them, and they think that they have to cover all of those resources in order to be prepared for an exam. But the best way to prepare for an exam is simply to review and learn by repetition. So even if you're going over the PowerPoint multiple times, even if you're listening to the lecture multiple times, even if you're doing something multiple times, it helps in some way. But if you're exposing yourself to a bunch of different resources, that can confuse you. It makes you overthink when you get into the test. So stick to simple. Keep things simple and don't overstudy. My next tip is to use practice questions. Practice questions will save your butt a lot, okay? So there's several different places where you can do practice questions. Board Vitals, I believe that you have to pay for a subscription, but that's beneficial. HESI and ATI both have practice questions and practice tests. There's also Quizlets even that have practice questions. Nurse Labs, all these places with practice questions. Now take these practice questions with a grain of salt though, because sometimes you'll read a question and it doesn't apply to what you've learned or what you've been taught. And sometimes you're like, oh my gosh, should I know this? And it's not that, it's just that that particular testing resource covers different materials. So take it with a grain of salt, because just because you get to a question you don't know doesn't mean that now you have to pause your questions and go off and look up a bunch of stuff about this topic. It's okay. So don't freak out, but use them to your advantage. The next and final tip that I have for you is to study with a group. However, when you're studying with a group, sometimes you have multiple people in that group, and that can lead to gossiping and not really staying on track. So any group of more than 5 people, I would say 4 or 5 people, is probably not the best option. So I would stick with a group of like 2 to 4 people, or 5 is best. It's also really great studying one-on-one with another person, but the real reason that it's beneficial to study with a group is because everybody perceives things differently. Everybody takes different notes. Everybody hears different things. And one person might say, oh, remember she said we have to know blah, blah, blah. And I didn't even remember that she said that. And so it's very beneficial to expose yourself to other people because of their other perceptions of the lecture and of the material. And so I would study with a group for multiple reasons, not just for academic support, but also for emotional support. You kind of get to know those people in your group, and you develop these relationships and connections with people, and they just grow over time. And so they themselves are a resource for you, and you're a resource for them, because nursing school is hard and nursing school is stressful, and we all need some help every now and then. Alright guys, well that is pretty much it for today's video. I hope that you guys enjoyed, and I hope that you guys found this helpful. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up, and if you like videos of this type, give this video a thumbs up so that I know what type of videos you guys want to see. Please leave a comment down below if you have any comments, questions, concerns, or video suggestions. And if you're not already, please hit that subscribe button to not miss any future content, both nursing and non-nursing related. I will link some of my other videos down below that you guys might be interested in, some study tips and stuff like that. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!